You're listening to the BBM Global Network with 25 years in broadcast audio and video production. Our passionate team creates content and marketing for the world of Internet Talk Radio. If you've got a passion, come join us at bbmglobalnetwork.com. The BBM Global Network. Your voice is now heard.
Welcome to Happiness Ninja Down Under with your host, Jamie Rose. Jamie will educate and empower people, organizations, and communities to help us all make better health and well-being choices. She will also engage you with expert influencers from around the world. So now, please welcome the host of Happiness Ninja Down Under, Jamie Rose.
Hi guys, welcome to this episode of Happiness Ninja Down Under. I'm your host Jamie Rose and we are back on Bold Brave TV. I am in New York coming to you live and I have two amazing guests, a powerhouse couple today. They're coming to you live from Philadelphia, or Pennsylvania, sorry. Forgive me and my Australianness. So we've got Hollis and her husband Scott Sunderland. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Here.
Yeah, thrilled to be here.
So I'll just tell the audience a little bit about you two. So you are a transformational breath coach and you have your own story of overcoming addiction through breath work. And I know that you're very passionate about breath work, as I am, and Scott. And so you'll be sharing that story and how that's changed your life for you. And Scott, you have a really incredible story where you were once in a wheelchair, unable to walk, I believe 20 years ago now, was it?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, and then you used visualization, and I can't wait for you to share that with the audience because it's going to blow some people's minds. And then, so you overcame that tragedy, and then you had another tragedy with your best friend passing away on the beach in front of you. And I know that that was a struggle for you to get through as well, and that led to you being an author of a book called Finding Ugly. So I'm really excited for both of you to dig into your story in a moment. I just wanted to first introduce you guys and then let the audience know how we met because I feel like that's an important part of both of our journey and everybody should know about the amazing Dr. Joe Dispenza and what he's doing for the world. So yeah, it's been about 2 years now since we met, and I think about a year since we've seen each other in person.
That's about right.
That's about right, yeah.
Crazy enough.
Yeah, maybe a bit shorter when we saw each other briefly in oh no, it would have been a year, yeah, when all this happened. You were in Florida. Yeah, wow, a year, that's gone so quick.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
So we'll start with you, Scott. I'll let you introduce your journey for how you choose to. I don't want to, set the audience up in any way other than what you feel. So please take it away from the top where you feel comfortable.
Sure. Yeah, I was a very active guy, 35, 36 years old, father, husband, the whole thing, business owner, really stressed out, own a construction company. I was working crazy hours, and I just kept having the thought of, I really just wanted everything to go away. I wanted to go home because I was on the road and I just wanted to lay in bed. About 4 months later, I got my wish. I contracted an autoimmune disease and I was laying in a hospital bed, basically unable to move. At first, there wasn't really a diagnosis until later. And then I was diagnosed with a very rare autoimmune disease. And the journey to get back to being able to feed myself again, talk again, walk again, all the things. And in my head, I knew, it's like, oh my God, I asked for this. I really did ask for this. It wasn't exactly, I kind of got the bonus plan, I guess, or maybe not the bonus plan, but I really realized that I asked for this. And I would watch people come in and out of my room, and I would see them walk in, and I would look at my legs and my arms and not be able to move. And I would think, what is it that I once had that now I do not have? What is this connection that I am missing? Because they walk in, walk out. They're not even thinking about walking, yet here I am, and nothing is moving. So my mind was all there. There was no, mind was fine. It was, obviously depression, anxiety, all that stepped in because of my condition. But so I thought, if I created this, because I really kind of came to that conclusion, I asked for it. So if I created this, then maybe I can change this. And that was the road. I started, I had a picture on the wall of me standing on top of a mountain at a ski resort in Utah. And I just kind of stared at that picture and kind of recreated the scene and really put myself in it. And, it wasn't to do anything, not to heal myself, nothing like that. It was just to get away from the situation I was in. It was really just to come back to some semblance of who I was. Let me, if I could just stand outside, and that was the way I could do it, is just through my visualization. So I would stare at the picture for 5 seconds. I would close my eyes for 5 seconds, and I would repeat the picture in my mind. Open my eyes, close my eyes. And I would do that hours upon hours a day. And eventually I did, almost walk out of there. It took me about a year, but got full recovery, and eventually got back to my mountain, skied down my slope, and the rest is kind of history. So I'm a firm believer in, it is what you feed your mind that shows up in front of you. It did for me. And I knew that whole trip that I went down was there to teach me something. I wasn't sure, but it was there to teach me something. And that was, that road. And that, from then, I just kind of, took on this whole new thought process of, maybe I am creating my reality. Just like, people say you create your own reality. Maybe that is what I'm doing. So that really kind of led me down the road that I am today and what we do.
And is that how you were drawn to Joe Dispenza, because of your own history kind of matched his story? Because the same thing, a similar thing happened to him. He was hit by a car and couldn't walk.
Yeah. I mean, it's really strange. I saw him in What the Bleep, and I thought, oh wow, that's kind of. I didn't know about his story until later. I just liked what he was saying, and I thought, that is what I did all those years ago. This is exactly what I did, what this guy is talking about. So that's really where that connection was made. And then, of course, later I found out about him being hit by the car and the whole thing. And it's like, wow, this is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's almost like divine intervention kind of brought you there. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and we do have to cut to the break soon, but I would like you to touch on the other side of your story as well, because that's what led you to writing your book, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, that was Finding Ugly. It was just like, as you said, it was the weeds came back into the garden, so to speak. I didn't get rid of the thing that put me in the bed, and it showed up again.
And when you say that, do you mean something in your own mind?
Yeah, old habits I never overcame, I never let go of, and they, like weeds in the garden, they came back. And the event showed up, and that event, it literally changed my life. For sure, 100%. That one took hold. That one took hold.
We'll cut to the break in a second, but if you don't mind sharing a little bit about that before we then hear from Em and her story, that would be great.
Yeah,
okay.
I know.
Fantastic. So we'll be back in 2 minutes, guys, and we'll get the rest of Scott's story after the break.
Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio. Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. You know, it feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Welcome back, guys. This is the episode of Happiness Ninja Down Under. I am Jamie Rose, and we are live on Bold Brave TV Network. And I have the amazing Em Hollis and Scott Sunderland here with us. We were just getting into a bit of Scott's story before the break. So he did witness a very tragic event in 2012. If you'd like to tell us about that, Scott, and how that affected your life.
Sure, yeah, after, going through the hospital and all that and kind of recreated my life, so to speak. And it was kind of like, you have this garden and you replant it and it's beautiful. And I was walking again, I was healthy again, and those old thoughts started to come back, the not being good enough, all the ones that we all have in our head. And the program, and it just came back so hard. I got angrier and angrier. Work started to take over again. And I was on vacation with my best friend and his family, with my family, and we were walking down a beach, and the beach collapsed. We went in the water, and he drowned in front of me. And I, blamed myself for it. I had a lot of survivor's guilt because I wasn't able to save him. I felt it was my fault that we were there in the first place. All the things, how we torture ourselves.
Yeah.
And really led me down a broken road. I mean, I didn't really have anybody to talk to about it because who relates to that? You know what I mean? Really kind of felt like I was on an island, and just.
It's not like you can go to AA or anything. There's not like a best friend died in front of me on the beach group. Yeah.
Yeah. It was really hard because, it's survivor's guilt, and I didn't know who to reach out to. And I'm not one that I would have reached out, to be honest. I'm strong enough, I'm strong enough to handle this on my own. I have to, because I have to hold everything up.
Yeah.
But that one, I remember sitting on the beach the days after and just basically saying to him, listen, dude, you got to come and forgive me. you know, I can't live with this. You're going to have to forgive me. Somehow, some way, I believe that you can, you have to. And I lived with that for probably 4 years. And every night would ask, didn't sleep much, and would just say, you have to. And went to a Dr. Joe workshop and was laying on a floor in Cancun, Mexico, and went into a meditation, and he came. And he walked right into me, and he said, it's never been me, it's just been you, because I am you. In other words, you're looking for my forgiveness. There's nothing to forgive. You have to forgive yourself. So the name of the book is Finding Ugly, and it was for those 4 years, finding him, Ugly. That's what our nickname for each other was. My nickname was Ugly, his name was Ugly. So I thought I was looking for him, but in the end, I was looking for myself. And in the end, for all of us, that's all what we're looking for. We're just looking for forgiveness for ourselves, for just to have ownership of ourselves, our own power, our own strength, and just to really just be happy, to just be happy. And that's all I wanted. I just wanted to be happy. And no idea how to get there. That definitely opened my door. And then as that led me down this road even more, then I knew, okay, so you have to be great. You have to be great now. You have to live a life, not only for you, you have to live a life for him. So if I made him a promise that I would help even just one person, I would do that. And that set me on this road that we are on together. It brought her into my life. Completely changed my life. I mean, we live an amazing, incredible life, incredible love story, the whole thing. And yeah, it's just power of the mind and accepting on trying to figure out who you really are, because you are not who you think you are. You are not this person, this character. Jim Carrey says it best. I love it when he says that. We are not that. We are the thing that walks you across the floor. That was the thing that I knew I was not when I was laying in that bed. I was not the thing that was pumping my heart. I was not the thing that could move my hands. What was that? And that was the thing I had to go and find again. And I found it. And that is the voice I try to listen to, although Scott is there, usually very present, nonsense. But we always have that voice. So it's interesting, for sure.
And when you were laying in the meditation at the Dispenza workshop and he came to you, was it like a instantaneous thing, or was it more gradual for you to really, find yourself and forgive yourself, or was it in that moment it all suddenly changed?
When I got off the floor, different person got off the floor. That fast. I was a different person. I let go of so much. I mean, like a 500-pound weight was gone off my back. And I knew. I said to the person I came with, I'm different. I'm different. I am a different person now. And
you just feel it.
Yeah, knew it. Just knew it. I mean, it was that real. It was so real, realer than I'm here. I mean, the emotion, the tears all came and just flooded in, and as those tears came, the release came. All the pain went out, all the weight went out, all the guilt, all the shame, all of it. And I finally felt alive, free. I finally felt free of myself. So.
And how long was it? Oh, sorry.
It was quite the ride, for sure.
Yeah. And how long was it until you ended up writing the book?
Oh, geez, probably. I came home from a workshop and I knew I had to change my life, and I did. I left a very long-term relationship and a life, really. I left Scott. It was like he died and I was a new person. And that's when I knew I've got to keep that promise. And I knew the book was going to be a big part of it. And That's what started it all.
It was like 6 months probably after that.
Yeah, right.
It was pretty soon.
Right after
Okay,
that.
pretty soon. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. And wrote the book in 9 weeks.
It was really
Oh,
quick.
wow. I was just about to ask, was it a long process? But that's probably the quickest book I've ever heard of.
Magic of an iPhone. You just speak into it and a book appears.
And if you've got passion, it flows.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I was in that. Yeah, there was no denying that.
It's a great book.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic book. Yeah. We do have to cut to the break, but we'll come back and then we'll get stuck into your story, Em.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
The opiate epidemic has reached crisis levels, and with so many families affected by addiction, opiate-related drug overdoses, and death, the time is now to have a real constructive conversation about addiction that could lead to better prevention, treatment, and recovery. Alan Charles, author and keynote speaker on drug abuse and prevention, presents The Alan Charles Show. Alan brings a message of hope, sharing his unbelievable story of surviving a 24-year addiction to cocaine and highlights from his memoir, Walking Out the Other Side, an addict's journey from loneliness to life. His raw honesty and courageous heart breaks the stigma of addiction and offers a unique perspective into the mind of an addict. Join Alan each week as he brings his listeners to a true understanding of the grip of addiction. It is only with this understanding that we can begin to heal. The Alan Charles Show, Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network.
Welcome back to Happiness Ninja Down Under. I'm Jamie Rose, your host for this series, and you are live on the Bold Brave Media Network. We have Em Hollis and Scott Sunderland here. We just wrapped up hearing about Scott's incredible journey of teaching himself to walk and talk and feed himself again after contracting a very rare condition and through visualization. And then he had a tragedy where he watched his best friend pass away in front of him, and then that led him to writing an incredible book, and it also led to meeting his amazing partner and wife now, Em. So I'd love to hear you share your story with the audience, because you also have an incredible story too.
Well, thank you for having us here, Jamie. Well, yeah, I mean, I think I was in the place that many people at my age find themselves, especially women and moms, where I was married, we had 3 kids between us, worked full time, had businesses, had all the things on the outside that we were supposed to do in life, right? That's all the things that 2 kids and the dog and the happy ending story, except for I wasn't happy. Yeah, picket fence, right? Except for I was dying inside, and I had a 10-year heavy pain pill addiction nobody knew about. So I always felt like I was living a double life, and I was in a very dysfunctional marriage. I realized it wasn't because of that 10-year marriage. It had started, in my teenage years. By 16, I had 2 really serious suicide attempts. So it was something that was within me for a very long time. Something within me that never felt quite like I fit, or that something was wrong with me, or I was different, or whatever else. And it culminated to a point where my mom was living in Hawaii at the time, and she came to Kellogg. She could see very quickly that, oh my gosh, this isn't healthy, you're going to get sick. I was just go, 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 stay really busy. Then I don't have to pay attention to all the things that are happening on the inside. And she had a book sitting on her nightstand, and I picked it up because the cover looked really interesting. And she'd been sending me things for months, like Deepak Chopra and Eckhart Tolle, and I just was like, I was not a meditator, I was not a spiritual person. I was just like, oh, mom and her stuff. And so I saw that book sitting on the nightstand and picked it up, read the back. It was called You Are the Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and just thought, wow, this sounds really interesting. And I started reading it, and I dove headfirst into it. I started meditating. I started watching everything that my mom had been trying to send me, only on my own. And isn't that how we have to do things? Yeah. And down the level of beginning to question who I am. Who am I really, without all of these conditions, without all of the things that people always told me that I was? And I was a people pleaser. I had no confidence. I was doing the things that I thought I was supposed to be doing, and I couldn't figure out why I was so unhappy. And that, starting to meditate, starting to really look at asking myself those bigger, deeper questions, starting to learn what it was like to actually stand in my power, to actually become slowly the person that I had always knew at a very young age I was supposed to be. But we let all that stuff get piled on top of us, and I believed it all. I believed that's who I was. And I mean, it was to the point where I truly felt like I couldn't leave my marriage. I couldn't operate a life without him because I didn't have any trust in myself. I thought I would screw up my life and everything else, and with kids and all of that. So I slowly started down the journey. I sucked at meditation at first. I mean, the first 9 months were horrible, but I did it every day. And
as we all do. We all suck at it in the beginning. Right.
It's funny when people say, well, I can't meditate. I'm like, yeah, you don't get to say that, because I couldn't either. And I just kept doing it.
You can't do it yet.
So it led me to a couple of workshops, meditation workshops, and then I went to an advanced one. It was 4 days. And had a spiritual awakening, energy moving through my body, something I'd never experienced before. And it fundamentally shifted the person, as he talked about. After that moment, literally, I walked out of that meditation a different person. And I went home from that workshop that day, and I left, didn't know what I was doing, where I was going, none of it, went and stayed with my mom. And it has been quite the journey since then. That was almost, I think 4 years ago. Yeah. And it's been a journey of uncovering more and more and more, and discovering more and more, and stepping into the person that I always knew I was supposed to be, and now getting to help lead other people do the same thing. And I discovered breath work. I initially learned it from Dr. Joe Dispenza, and a friend of mine had told me about Wim Hof. And so I kind of combined the two, and I had a really, what I know now is a massive release. And I went, oh my gosh, there is really something to this breath work. And I ended up finding Soma breath work. I'm a certified instructor for Soma breath work. And it's fundamentally shifted every part, emotionally, physically, spiritually, in so many ways. So now I get to teach others those techniques.
And when we cut to the break, when we come back, we will go into what you guys have created. It's called the Freedom Project, and it's incredible. You are changing people's lives and helping people just as you both wanted to. It's interesting how it's kind of a typical journey, isn't it, for people like us? We come from this tragedy and trauma and repeating the program and thinking there's something wrong with us, and then finding the light and the path, and then through that realizing that our path is helping others get through the journey as we did.
Yep. 100%. And I had always, like I said, known that I was supposed to help people in some way. I never knew quite how until you really until you start with yourself first, and you heal those parts of you inside you, and that's when you can go, wow, I can tell somebody else that this is possible because I've done it. I know that it's possible.
Yeah, it's a big exhale. and all of a
Yeah.
sudden you're like, like, oh my God, this is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
You know?
And I must tell others.
Yeah, and then you're like,
Yeah, it becomes like a mission then.
yeah, it's like, please listen to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes you just want to bang people on the head and be like, "Come on, wake up! You don't need to be like this anymore."
I think I've done that.
There is such thing as happiness. I promise.
Yeah.
Exactly. We do have to cut to the break, but we'll get stuck into what you guys do and how you help people, and you can tell everybody about however you want some examples. I believe you're going to take us through a bit of a breath work too later on at the end, Em.
Yep, absolutely.
Excellent. We'll cut to the break in a moment. We'll be back in a moment.
Have you ever felt like no one is listening, or you're not getting the honest attention you deserve? Do you even know the kind of attention you want or need? You are not alone. Alice Aspen March is here to help. Thanks to Alice, through her epiphany and research over the word attention, there are solutions to the attention dilemma. Worldwide audiences have been enthralled and engaged for over 40 years with her visionary and pioneering observations. The kind of attention we get and give is vital to improving our lives and society. Alice and her weekly guests review game-changing insights for transforming and improving our understanding of attention, providing techniques for creating healthier and empowering behavior. Get a new perspective on a mainstream word. Tune into Why Our Attention Matters for fresh and thought-provoking conversations every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern on boldbravemedia.com and the TuneIn Radio app. Mike Zorek, a three-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a six-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2/3, and 2/4. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorek, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorek has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk on the BBM Global Network.
Welcome back to Happiness Ninja Down Under. I'm Jamie Rose, your host for this series, and we are on the Bold Brave TV network, coming to you live from New York and Pennsylvania. I got it right that time. We have an amazing powerhouse couple here with us today, Em Hollis and Scott Sunderland. Thank you for joining me, guys. Now, I would love for you to continue telling the audience about the Freedom Project, how it was born, and what you guys do and how you transform people's lives.
Yeah. So through going to these workshops, obviously that is where him and I met. It sounds cheesy, but it was instantly like there was no dating. It was like, oh, we found each other again. We've done this before. We found each other again, and I had written him down in my journal, not knowing it was him. But it was very quickly we knew we were supposed to be together, and we would start going to the workshops together. And obviously his powerful story of what he did and how he was able to use his mind basically in visualization to heal himself. And going through, when I went home and I left, I put myself through withdrawal, cold turkey, got off the pain pills. And as we talked about earlier, we both knew right away, this was things that we had to share with people. And if we were able to do it, and this was the way we were able to do it, we could help walk others through that, knowing that to do it alone is really, really difficult, if not impossible. And then shortly after, we met our partner and friend Simon Harris at a retreat. He had been there with his wife, who has since passed. They were there trying to heal her of her cancer. And he had, in the process, learned this technique called freedom activation, which deals with the emotions that we connect to certain people and places and things. And so as the three of us quickly, I mean, same with him, it was like instant chemistry. And so we started talking and we said, we've got to help people. And we came up with this idea. It came out of a meditation. I thought, wow, what he is saying and what I'm saying and Simon's saying all really work with each other. It deals with your body, with breath work. It deals with your mind. It deals with your emotions. Like, this is totally different than anything that's out there because it's touching on all subjects. And so we thought, we'll test it out and see, we'll try this like 4-week live coaching calls for free and did a test run, and it was amazing, the results. And we said, okay, let's do this. That was 2.5 years ago. It's transformed so many different ways. It's now a 9-week coaching course with the three of us. We've had well over 100 people go through it and make massive changes in their life. And knowing that, the biggest thing that people say to us that come through it is, when they start, most of them know the things, like why, they know the conditioning, they understand it intellectually, they've read all the books, they know all the theories, but they were stuck with like, okay, now what? Like, now I can't implement, how do I implement any of that into my life? How do I start making these changes? And that was our biggest passion, was like, here, you can know all of these things, but if you don't do them, your life won't change. Nothing will change. And that's where most people stop, because that's where the comfort zones stop. We can talk about wanting to change all day long, but then doing it means it's a different set point. Your comfort level is a different set point. You have to get really used to being uncomfortable.
And it's a lifestyle change.
It is a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a 180.
It's a complete paradigm shift.
It is.
Yeah. We have smaller courses and things like that. The Beyond Limits course, that's our Beyond Limits Mastermind. We interview people before they even come through that, because it's intense. It's a complete lifestyle change, and some people aren't ready for that. But the ones that are, holy moly. World, watch out.
It's pretty impressive, honestly.
Yeah, they inspire us.
Yeah.
Literally every week when we get off the phone, we are like, these are people that are not. We have a man with MS that's in a wheelchair that just refuses to let that be his identity.
Yeah.
And he'll be the first to tell us, I know it's not a physical issue, it's an emotional issue, and that is how I'm treating what my body has. Is through that lens. So it's, like I said, it's inspiring to us. It's transformed in and of itself in so many ways. We have tons of big dreams and big visions of where we see it going, where we want it to go. We're talking about creating a teen program, using breath work and mindset things, and we're working with a group right now on kind of testing that out, as we did in the beginning of the Freedom Project. And so the sky's the limit for where we want to take it. We just know we're really passionate about helping people that are ready, that know that there's more to life, that know that they should be doing more with their life, as I sat there and asked myself, that question, like, I'm doing everything everyone told me to do, and yet I'm miserable inside. So I can't be the only one. I know I'm not the only one. And how much stress and anxiety and unhappiness people experience out there, that's our motivation.
And that becomes kind of like the new norm, is stress and anxiety and just this voice going constantly in your head. And it doesn't need to be the cancer to show up. It doesn't need to be, this big life-threatening disease for you to step into the ring, onto our field, as we like to say, and to say, okay, you're my last chance. This is my last chance. Doctors don't have anything for me. What do I do? And I don't care if it's Crohn's, MS, depression, anxiety. It really doesn't make a difference. It's all that we just all forgot who we are. We just forgot that we are not, that we're this person that we were told, your name's Scott, and you are a son of this man and a son of this woman, and you're going to take all their stuff and you're going to mold it into your life, and you're going to go to school, you're going to do this, you're going to become a carpenter, and we forget the magic that we were when we came into this. And we like to just guide people back to come and play into our sandbox. Come and play into our sandbox. Let's have fun. Let's go find out.
I love that. Come play in my sandbox. It is all about the power of the mind. Mind over matter is huge, and it's completely underestimated and not taught. And I mean, that's why you're on the show, and that's why we connected, because we both have that passion for that, and we both understand that we really need to educate people around the world on this so they can harness their own power. We do have to cut to the break, but we will be back, and then we will continue this and wrap up shortly after that. So we'll be back, guys. Thank you.
Dr. RC will share extraordinary resources and services that promote educational success, as well as making a difference in the lives of all social workers, as well as the lives of children, adolescents, and teens of today. She will have open discussions addressing many of the issues that we face about our youth, and how being employed in the uniquely skilled profession of social work for over 18 years has taught invaluable lessons through her personal experiences. She will also provide real-life facts, examples, and personal stories that will confirm that why serving as a child advocate is extremely beneficial when addressing the needs of the whole child. Listen live to Dare to Soar, Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network, and tune in radio as Dr. RC will provide thought-provoking information that will empower, encourage, and strengthen students, families, and communities across our nation. You can also visit her at soarwithkatie.com. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back to Happiness Ninja Down Under. We are almost wrapping up this series. This is Jamie Rose, your host, and you are listening to the Bold Brave TV Network. So Scott, I'll just cut to you. We were just starting to talk about the power of the mind, and I know you have quite a bit to say on that. So if you'd like to take us away with that first.
Sure, yeah, I think it really kind of started back when I was paralyzed in the hospital bed. I woke up one night and it was almost like this voice was talking to me, and it said, what if your eyes aren't looking out into a world that you exist in? What if that world is just inside you? So the world that you see is literally just a video screen in your mind. And then the voice went. And then that left me with that question for 20 years. I would start to think, yeah, right, okay. So if this is just a video screen in my mind, and now, with the study of quantum physics and knowing everything we know now, how that relates to that was kind of, mind-blowing for me. And I thought, well, if it's inside me, then I can change it. If it's outside me, it's hard, it's there, it's always been there, and it's not connected to me. But if it's inside my mind, then I can change the things around me. And then that really started me down that road of, how do you know your color blue is my color blue? And I would ask that to my kids when they were little. And they would say, well, it's blue, Dad. And I said, no, how do you know? I can't see through your eyes. So I know you're pointing at that color and you're saying it's blue, but what if when you say, hey, Dad, that's blue, I see my blue that quick? That's how our mind works. So if that's true for colors, then isn't it true for everything? When you say, oh, look at that car, I'm looking at a car. Maybe you see a car. Maybe I see a horse. I don't know, because I can't see through your eyes. I don't know what you see. So it really started to bring out this whole new idea of maybe we are literally creating our reality, and maybe it is the feelings that we've grown up with, these emotions that we've grown up with, you know, as that little boy, little girl, you know, 1 to 6 years old, with the environment they grew up in. And maybe that is dictating what we see, what events show up for us. So instead of an event causing you to feel a certain way, a traffic jam or being late for work, what if it is the actual feeling that is creating the events to show up for you? Because if you're creating your reality, what creates that reality? The state that you are in. So if we can take people and we can change them into a new person, give them a new name, give them a whole new alter ego, the universe, so to speak, the God, so to speak, then they can literally create a new world. They can create a new life, and things start showing up for them. It's fascinating to watch. We have seen literally people change in front of our eyes on our group calls. It blows us away. It absolutely blows us away. So that's kind of what we do and what we've experienced, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah, and to put it in a nutshell for some of the audience who may not be quite grasping this, I kind of attribute it to, like, think about 2 people go to the beach, right? You're going to have completely different experiences. I know for me, I don't particularly like going to the beach because the sand irritates my skin. I have very sensitive skin. Then I get in the water, the same kind of thing happens. My skin, I burn easily. So like the whole idea of going to the beach, it really isn't like that appealing to me. But then for other people, a lot of other people, they have a completely different experience and they're having a great time frolicking in the water, and they're wondering while I'm sitting on the beach going, where can we go? Like, it's getting sunny, I'm burning. So, but that's because it's my perspective and my perception of that. And it's different to theirs.
Yeah. And it's true. Like, you know, if you're the little kid sitting on the beach and playing with the pail and you're building your sand castle and you're so happy, and then you run down to the water and you get your bucket and you fill your bucket and you jump in the waves. And then that is such a happy experience. That's what you remember. And as we turn older in our lives, we want those experiences again. That's why we want to go back to Disney World. When we were here, when I was a little kid, it was awesome. Now it's like I'm bringing my kids to, you know, Disney so they can experience it, right? And then there's the other person that, yeah, they got burned and they're on the sand, and now the sand is irritating them. It's like, yeah, this is terrible. So 2 people, 2 totally different perspectives. And perfect example of how we create these perspectives for ourselves. And when you get the light bulb, when the light bulb pops on, and then you think, oh my God, that's it. That's right. So what if I can change my perspective about that? What if I can look at differently? Instead of standing in a room, what if I got on the table and saw a different view of the room? Those small little things. It totally changes your perspective, which then totally changes your emotional state. When you change your emotional state, now you're changing the events that are actually showing up for you because you're viewing those events differently. It really is so simple, but sometimes hard to grasp.
And you actually are changing the way your brain functions as well when you're changing your perspective and changing your emotions. We know that through neuroscience and neuroplasticity and all of the science around that now, which is, you know, related to quantum energy and quantum physics and all that. It's all the cutting edge stuff that we want the rest of the world to understand.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yeah.
So we have to cut to the break shortly. And then, Em, you're going to lead us in a short breath work, aren't you?
Yes, it's just going to be a breathwork exercise talking about awareness and having awareness. This is a great thing. It's a super easy tool that people can do at any time throughout the day to help with awareness. When you have awareness, you can make a different choice.
Excellent. And do you want the audience to do it along with you, or are you just explaining something?
No, I'll explain what we're going to do, and then the audience, it's just going to be a short, quick 10 breaths in and out, a specific kind, and yeah.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to it. I'll do it along with everyone as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic. We'll cut to the break and we'll be back in 2 moments.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality? But it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating. Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back to Happiness Ninja. I am Jamie Rose, and you are listening to the Bold Brave TV Network. We have Em and Scott here from the Freedom Project, and Em is going to run us through a brief breath work. Take it away, Em.
Yeah. So I'm just going to give you guys a quick instruction of what you're going to be doing. This you can do any moment of the day when you're starting to feel anxious, stressed, when you know you want to make a different decision. It's your breath is your biggest tool you have to start implementing changes, because it can change your emotional state, as we just talked about the importance of, by turning on your parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest. So what we're going to be doing, I'm going to walk you through 10 breaths. It's important that you do 10. I'm going to count you in for 4, meaning I'm going to go in, 2, 3, 4, and you're going to inhale through your nose, engaging your diaphragm with your belly. You're going to be belly breathing instead of chest breathing. And then I'm going to say out to, and I'm going to say out to a count of 8, and you're going to be sure to breathe out through your mouth. So you're breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, keeping up with my count. The reason we extend the exhale is, again, it triggers the parasympathetic nervous system, which will put you in a state of relaxation right away. And as I said, it's important you do 10. That's enough to kind of trigger that system. So if you just want to sit up, if you guys are you can lay down to whatever you're more comfortable with. Close your eyes and just listen to my count, listen to my voice, breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, engaging your belly. Okay, so here we go. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4. Out. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we should all feel much more relaxed, centered, in alignment. I have 3 free breathwork tracks on our YouTube channel that people can check out. They're great ones to do in the morning. But again, that's a really easy practice. I dive really deep in the Freedom Project into the power of your breath. You can check us out on thefreedomproject222.com. That's our website. And you can find all the information for the Freedom Project, breathwork, mindset, all things transformation.
You're on Facebook too, aren't you? The Freedom Project.
The Freedom Project 222 on Facebook. You can follow Scott, Sunderland, and Hollis on Facebook. I'm always posting. I do free Soma Awakening breathwork every 3rd Sunday of the month. So I'm always
excellent. I didn't even know that.
Every 3rd Sunday. It's a pretty intense breathwork ceremony, but it's awesome. So I do that every 3rd Sunday.
Fantastic. Sorry, you go, Scott.
Finding Ugly on Amazon and
yeah,
YouTube channel.
And the Freedom Project 222 on YouTube.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. And I can attribute to the power of even just that short 1 minute. When I used to get anxiety attacks, when I started first learning about the breath work and how important it was, I used to duck to the bathroom and just breathe to calm myself down before work meetings, before any kind of stress. It just really resets the system. So, but it's the practice. You have to do it. Thank you once again, guys, for joining me. And yeah, definitely check out the Freedom Project 222 on all of those different social media channels. And we'll see you next week, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
This has been Happiness Ninja Down Under with your host, Jamie Rose. Tune in each week and join the conversation as Jamie highlights the true power of the human mind to create a thriving world. Right here on Jamie Rose's Happiness Ninja Down Under.
You're listening to the BBM Global Network with 25 years in broadcast audio and video production. Our passionate team creates content and marketing for the world of Internet Talk Radio. If you've got a passion, come join us at bbmglobalnetwork.com. The BBM Global Network. Your voice is now heard. You've been listening to the BBM Global Network. The ideas, views, and opinions of this broadcast are those of the participants of the program and are not necessarily the ideas, views, and opinions of the BBM Global Network Company.